Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
We have the Rangers and the Astros tonight at 6:30 here on Double T 97.3. I watch about a grand total of one car race a year, and it's always the Indy 500. And this year I watched quite a bit of it, actually, from the pregame pageantry to the pre-race pageantry to the final moment. Not the whole thing, but it was the closest finish in the history of the race as Felix Rosenqvist won by .0233 seconds over David Malukas, who had led most of the way, and there was an accident. This young man by the name of Mick Schumacher, Michael Schumacher's his dad, the big race car champion, who's
not Skip.
Not Skip, no, not Skip. But I wanted to give you this little tidbit in case you were looking for a conversation starter with anybody today, Jamie. In the 110 years, or the 110 running of the Indianapolis 500, because there were some years during World War II where they did not race, Sunday was the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. There have been a grand total of 808 different drivers. I thought that was a stunningly low number when you consider there's 33 drivers, roughly. Some years maybe I don't think they've always had 33. So just think about that. And so then I was thinking last night, going, well, how many people have been to space? 781 have been to space. So not that many more have driven in the Indianapolis 500. And they were talking about that during the race, about how rare it is to race in the Indianapolis 500. I'm like, well, how rare can it be? But then, as it turns out, pretty rare.
Pretty rare.
808 drivers. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Don't know what Mississippi State's pitcher's overall record is, but she's no slouch to shut out Oklahoma. No, that's very true.
No doubt.
Yeah, and I'm sure that there'll be folks who go, well, they're not. They upset a team, or they just happy to be there. But I'm sure that once they get there, they'll be like, well, we're happy to be here, but we'd also be really happy to win too. So we're not just happy to be here, so to speak, to get our swag bag and then go back home to Mississippi State. We're here to.
So not playing with house money?
They might be. They might be, because nobody expected them to be there. So that's kind of
so
the.
So it's not really that.
They might be. How about the New York Knickerbockers last night? They went over the Cleveland Cavaliers 130-93 and take that
Nail
series
biter.
4-0. Yeah, I mean, they just smoked Cleveland. Just absolutely smoked them. And so now they advance on to the finals for the first time since 1999. It's Patrick Ewing era. So, can the Knicks win it all? Are you going to root for the Knicks, or do you root for whomever wins between San Antonio and Oklahoma City?
I'll definitely root for the Spurs against the Knicks, but beyond that, I don't think they'll be rooting really one way or another. One way or the other.
You'll just be like,
basically just rooting for Choice.
Okay, because Choice is a big Spurs fan. Yeah, I can get behind that. That series is tied at 2 games apiece, and Game 5 is tonight in Oklahoma City. OKC is favored by 5.5. And then Game 6 is back in San Antonio on Thursday night with a 7:30 tip. Tonight's tip is at 7:30 as well. So there you go. 6:36 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that of the mobile app. I'll give you the Home Zone word of the day today, name of the day. Your chance to win $10,000. We'll do that at 7:51 this morning. Okay? So be looking for that. Your chance to win $10,000 from Double T 97.3 and the Home Zone, making your house a home.
I am surprised that Chuck didn't bring up that he's also rooting for the Spurs in the Western Conference Finals. Because that way it's the Spurs and Knicks version 2. Because that's who the Knicks lost to in 1999.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to tell you that. So I don't have a.
So you looked up when they last played, but didn't look up who they played.
I just knew that they last played in the finals in 1999. I didn't take the next step to research who they lost to. No, sorry. NCAA baseball field of 64 was announced yesterday, Monday. Yeah, I had to get my days straight here. 6 Big 12 teams. Did anybody get left out?
The other 8.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Anybody that didn't make it that should have? Or did everybody make it that should have?
I thought TCU would get in, but I knew that they were really, really close. So I guess that's the question you're asking.
Yeah. Because that's the one. Everybody else is below 500.
Yeah.
Would have had to have won the Big 12 postseason tournament. But that doesn't hurt your feelings at all that they got left out, does it?
I'm devastated.
Yeah.
Hard to sleep last night.
Yeah. You have 2 teams that will host regionals, Kansas and West Virginia.
That's good.
So that's there were none last year, so you get a couple this year. Is there anybody in those 6 that you'd like to see to advance to Omaha? Anybody that you have an affinity for?
I would not say that. I have an affinity for. Obviously, it would be good for the league for teams to get there. So, I mean, obviously, the 2 that would be the most likely are Kansas and West Virginia, who are hosting, and I would much rather it be Kansas than West Virginia.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Arizona State's in there, UCF's in there, Oklahoma State's in there, Cincinnati's in there.
I wouldn't hate if Arizona State went deep.
It'd be nice to see Brian get to go back to Oklahoma City. I mean, to Omaha, excuse me. Wrong sport. Brian Haney.
Yeah, sure.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Sports history today is Tuesday, May the 26th, 2026. With this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Starting in 1946, New York Yankee Mel Ott retires from playing to become a manager. This only after going 2 for 42 and hitting .048.
That'll make you want to tell other people what to do, don't do what I did.
1959, Major League Baseball pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates, Harvey Haddix pitches 12 perfect innings. He loses it in the 13th to the Braves at Milwaukee County Stadium. 1993, Carlos Martinez famously hits a ball off Jose Canseco's head for a home run.
I could have never guessed the hitter on that one.
I'm with Jamie, yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't even part of the highlight. I mean, he was the one who hit the ball, but
there's truth there.
Once the ball left the bat, he was no longer part of the equation.
I can see the ball hitting Canseco's head and going into the stands, but I sure can't see the hitter. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And I guess that means we're like, what, a week away, 2 weeks away from him doing his pitching performance where he had to go on the DL at that point?
Yeah.
I want to say it was right afterwards. 2015, Cleveland Cavaliers win the NBA Eastern Conference Finals. And in 2021, the number 5 Texas Tech Red Raiders jumps out to an early lead and got a terrific start from Mason Montgomery to secure an 11-4 victory over Baylor in the first round of the 2021 Big 12 Championship. Montgomery struck out 11 and allowed just 2 hits over 5 scoreless frames. Sophomore left-hander struck out the side in the first and the fourth before exiting the game with an 8-0 lead. It is National Cherry Dessert Day.
I'm a big fan. The cherries are back in the grocery store, by the way. It's that time of year.
Okay.
I'm just giving you a little tidbit there.
Stevie Nicks, 78. Hank Williams Jr., 77. Lenny Kravitz, 62. And Micah Parsons is 27. And on this day in 1868, at the end of a historic 2-month trial, the U.S. Senate narrowly fails to convict President Andrew Johnson of impeachment charges levied against him by the House of Representatives three months earlier. The senators voted 35 guilty and 19 not guilty on the second article of impeachment, a charge related to his violation of the Tenure of Office Act in the previous year. 10 days earlier, the Senate had likewise failed to convict Johnson on another article of impeachment, the 11th, voting an identical 35-19 for acquittal. Because both votes fell short by 1 vote of the 2/3 majority needed to convict Johnson, he was judged not guilty and remained in office. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History, 6:49 this morning here on the Morning Drive.
Up until fairly recently, the only president to ever actually go through impeachment proceedings and come out on the other side.
Come out on the other side. Yeah. It's free.
Now we're having them all the time.
I don't know if you guys saw this or even bothered to look at this, but it caught my eye. The enhanced games that took place this past weekend in Las Vegas. You familiar with this?
Never heard of it.
Okay. I had never heard of it either. Competitors were free to take performance-enhancing substances and then compete. There was only one, quote, athlete to, quote, beat a world record Sunday at the enhanced games. Christian Kolomif from Greece won the men's 50-meter freestyle. His time was 20.81 seconds. They had hoped for more records to fall. Among the things he did was he wore a synthetic supersuit, which is banned at the Olympics. And he was faster than an Australian who had set the record back in March. He said it was a great race. I got it. And he got $1 million bonus for the unofficial record. How about that? The enhanced games were denounced by many athletic governing bodies and anti-doping agencies, citing serious health risks for the participants. Yes, I would think so. They were lured by prize money, including $250,000 for event wins. Those included Olympic medalist swimmers, 3 of them who won some money. The founder had predicted quite a few records would be broken on the world record side, but there was just the one. Okay, just the one. I would never do that. The majority of the 42 competing sprinters, swimmers, and weightlifters were taking typically banned substances such as testosterone and anabolic steroids. The handful who opted to compete clean also achieved wins. So some were clean, and some were not so clean.
Dirty,
right? Dirty, but they were legally.
Yep.
They were legally dirty. So. Yep. There you go. Somebody asked this question, or makes this statement, or more of a question than a statement. Did the bad blood with Florida evolve this year? Does it have a history going back to last year or before? I had the feeling that they were carrying a chip on their shoulder and a great amount of entitlement. No, I think it came after Mia Williams left Florida to come here. That's when the biggest chip was, don't you?
That's my assumption.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know the full history of the two programs and their battles or anything like that.
I mean, we're a relative newcomer when you really think about softball. I mean,
yeah, just
this past year and last year.
I mean, just think of the way that we felt when Kevin McCullough left us for Kansas.
Sure. Yeah, it's the
same deal.
Yeah, it's the same deal.
And at least we didn't end up facing Kevin McCullough to go to the Final Four, and he beat us.
Yeah.
It's kind of where the bad blood is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This from 15 minutes ago. Dang, JL beat me to the house money comment.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's... somebody also says legally dirty horse name. Could be,
Good
right?
one. Yeah.
Could be. Could be. We shall see on that. So 6:53 this morning here on the Morning Drive. If you have a thought, comment, reaction to the weekend, anything that you want to share from over the weekend, you can go to the Yates Flooring Center chat line off the Double T 97.3 mobile app. It is presented by Happy State Bank. Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. This observation: Texas softball would have lost Saturday if the Arizona State coach had not pulled the pitcher that was getting them out. She even told Holly Rowe that she was putting her favorite pitcher in the inning before. Well, I don't think she just put her favorite pitcher in because she was her favorite pitcher. I'm sure that she thought that she was going to get some outs. At least I'd sure hope so.
You would think so.
I mean,
it would be a little bit surprising.
Although
she may be her favorite pitcher, but yeah.
Although the story is that John McNamara left Bill Buckner in 1986 because he wanted Buckner to be on the field when the team won the World Series. And that, of course, did not happen. But that was not all Bill Buckner's fault. There were other contributors to it. But that was a big play in that 86 World Series.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Hey, good morning. It is 7:15 this morning on the Morning Drive with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We go straight to the Visual Edge IT hotline where we have the head coach of the Texas Tech Red Raider softball team. They're World Series bound, Gerry Galasco. Good morning, Coach, and congratulations.
Good morning.
Was this one a little more relief, or did you get a chance to celebrate some too and think about it just a little bit before you started thinking about going to Oklahoma City?
Yeah, it's kind of you have a short turnaround. We leave here this morning, I think around 10:30 from the field, or maybe even 9:30. We're going to have a short hit around, and then we'll get on the bus and head to Oklahoma City. That's how fast it happens. You get home and you've literally got 24 hours to get packed and go to Oklahoma City. So not much time to rest, but very satisfying. And, yeah, there is a sense of relief when you start in August and your goal is to get to the World Series. And there's 300 teams and 8 get a go. And so the odds are 29-1 no matter what. And there's so many ways to lose. So great sense of satisfaction. And then just a lot of pressure off my back, it feels like. I feel, I don't know what the word, but relaxed.
Coach, obviously the wins were the most important thing. But besides that, what impressed you and made you the most happy that you saw from your team this weekend?
There were so many things I was proud of this week. I was proud of our bench. They were very inspiring throughout the whole series. I thought Vic Valdez didn't play on the field as much as she normally does, but she was probably the MVP of the team because of the fight and fire that she led her team with from the dugout. And she set the precedent for our whole ball club. Like, we're not backing down. We're not going to back down from anybody. If you challenge us, we're going to fight harder. And you challenge us as much as you want. You can throw. I thought they used a lot of things that they could have been intimidated by. They used it to motivate themselves. And I just thought the whole team, Mia Williams unbelievable to go back into that pressure cooker and face that audience. And, you know, they hit her 5 times, walked her 1 time, but when she got her chances to swing the bat, did she make the most of it? And I can't say enough about that young lady and what she's come to mean to our program and to me as a coach. And Taylor Panel, I thought Taylor Panel was just huge this weekend, and her leadership and then her bat on Sunday was remarkable. I can't say enough about Jackie List. So I could go on for days over that one. When you beat somebody the quality of Florida on their field in that environment with record crowds every day, there's a lot of good things have to happen.
Well, it kind of really sets the tone for this week too, and so you know, as you get ready for Mississippi State, what concerns you about them?
They're a good ball club. All 8 teams at the World Series can beat you, and you know that going in. Mississippi State is hot. They're red hot, and they just took out Oklahoma. They're going to be sky high. And I think what we have to worry about is not overlooking anybody. And I think that for us, it's more of a trap game. Mississippi State took out Oklahoma, but they know they got Texas Tech, and they know who Texas Tech is. And we thoroughly beat them in the regional last year. And I think for our kids going on the road to Florida, it could become a trap game. It also could be exactly the test that we needed, and that I felt like the fight that we had to bring out to win that series, it elevated our players. It heightened them in a competitive way to a level they've never been at the entire season. They never had to fight that hard. Maybe in the 7th inning against Ole Miss when we were down 8-0, but then they hadn't had to fight against that level of pitcher that hard. So I think we got to be real careful. We can use that Florida series to make us better than we've ever been, but we have to respect the next opponent and realize how good they are. And so that's my message to the girls for the next 48 hours is, like, understand this is a team that's in the World Series for the first time. They're going to come out full of belief. They're going to come out confident, and they're a dangerous, dangerous ball club, obviously.
Coach, you guys have been dominant on the mound all season long with 2-3 really different pitchers, but Florida got after you guys a little bit this weekend on the mound. Is that a credit to Florida, or did you feel like maybe your squad didn't pitch as good as you normally do?
I think a little bit of both, but I think that our pitchers had to have that. I think our pitchers had to have that test to where they quit worrying. They haven't been challenged. Our pitchers hadn't been challenged as much as we wanted them to. Even in some of the losses, like a 4-0 loss to Texas State, they only give up 4 runs. Our offense lost that game. Our 4-0 loss to Arizona State, our offense lost that game. This was where the pitchers got to a point where they were clearly frustrated, and they were clearly beginning to let doubts creep in their mind. And that was a turnaround when I told them, like, you got 2 choices. You can think how hard it is in the circle, or you can think how easy it is in the circle. A pitcher's going to win 6 or 7 out of 10 times. On a bad day, they're going to win 6 out of 10 times. On a good day, they're going to win 8 out of 10 times. So as long as they keep a positive vibe in their mind, and as long as they're thinking positively about how easy it is to get hitters out, the game becomes very easy. And we got to the other side of that, where the game become very hard. And that had to happen. I'm glad it happened before we got to Oklahoma City, and I'm glad that it also provided our hitters with a test where when I was in Georgia, we were never known for pitching. We were always known for hitting. And my slogan was, score 10, we win. Score 10, we win. And I got back to this mentality the last couple of weeks, and we've been scoring. I think in the postseason, we've averaged 10 runs a game. And it's like our job is to put up 10 runs and take the pressure off the pitcher. Don't make the pitcher be perfect. And I think our pitchers learn now we don't have to be perfect. We have to be good. We don't have to be perfect. And we'll still win. Our hitters will still win for us. So I think that we didn't pitch up to par. But long story short, I think it puts us in a perfect position going into the World Series.
Coach, finally, you said you were relaxed. Do you get the sense that your team is relaxed? We've got about a minute going into the World Series.
I think that our team is in a perfect space. I don't know if they're relaxed. I think they're ready to fight for what they want. I think they're ready to give everything they got. You know, there was times in the season when I had, different people say, it doesn't look like they're playing hard. Doesn't look like they want it. And we had to address that. And I think anybody that watches our team play today sees a team that wants it and sees a team that's playing really hard. And that's what a Texas Tech athletic team should always look like. We should always look like we're giving 100%. And so I think we're in a great spot.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this week, and look forward to talking to you next week. It's potentially getting ready to either win one or be in position to win one as far as a national championship. Good luck this week, Coach.
Thank you.
That's Gerry Galasco here with us this morning on the Morning Drive on the Visual Edge IT hotline. If you would like to chime in and react, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, or the mobile app. Seems like a guy that's ready to go, Jamie.
Yeah, no doubt. I don't think he's ever sounded like a guy that wasn't ready to go. He's got plenty of energy, but yeah, I'd like what he said there about feeling like the pressure was off a little bit, and maybe this team can relax a little bit now and play even better than they have up to this point.
Yeah, and you win 10, you score 10, you win. That's kind of been a good motto for him in the past, and so maybe that's something that they can kind of go back to and grab on for the rest of this season. We'll have Texas Tech softball on the air for you on Thursday morning. Broadcast time 10:30 on 92.3 The Hub. Play-by-play at 11. They take on Mississippi State to start the World Series of Softball there from Oklahoma City. And you'll hear it all on 92.3 The Hub.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen. It's funny that Chuck just brought that up because this kind of fits into this conversation. It appears, and I think somewhat of it is a compliment, somewhat of it isn't, but it appears that the college sports world is becoming haters of Texas Tech. Okay, we are becoming one of the most disliked athletic departments across the country. For a variety of different reasons. We all know what those are about. I want you to tell me who you think, take your personal fandom out of it, and just pick your team's rivals, but who do you think are the three most disliked athletic departments, schools, whatever, in the country? Who do you think are the three most disliked? You can include Texas Tech if you want. Okay. You don't have to, though.
Okay.
I'm not putting them in my three.
Yeah, I don't think they're in the top three, but I think they're starting to get some teams or schools or programs to run for the money. No pun intended. I don't think they'll ever be a darling, and maybe the narrative's changed a little bit, because I think this is a loved and hated team, and that's Notre Dame. I think a team that is, and I think in the Big Ten, you could make a choice between Michigan and Ohio State, and I think Ohio State is more so than Michigan, even though Michigan has had its challenges and had a very I don't know what word I'm looking for, but you had a divisive coach in Jim Harbaugh, who had his challenges, but I think by and large it's Ohio State, and then third, man. I think it's Texas. I think Texas is still in there as well, just because it's Texas.
Okay.
Chuck and I agree on two. Notre Dame, Ohio State. And this is kind of maybe considered a stretch. I don't know anybody that likes Duke. I don't know anybody that likes Duke. I know a lot of people that hate Duke. It's mainly because of their basketball program. Ohio State obviously is their football program, and the Ohio State and the mentality that goes with it.
Yeah,
and
with Ohio State, I would say it's not their football program or their basketball program. It's their fans.
Their fans, right. And Notre Dame, the constant, not in a Power 4 or a Power 5 or a Power 6 when there was a Power 6, not in a conference that it's the doing their own thing and have to be invited by their own their athletic director while we got conference commissioners together and everything else that goes with it. That, to Chuck's point, there are honest to God Notre Dame fans that have been Notre Dame fans forever, but it's either love them or hate them. There's the line. But Duke makes my list because I don't know anybody that likes Duke.
Okay. I think we're pretty similar here, guys. I think we can all agree that Notre Dame's number one, and probably the largest fan base across the country, but at the same time, the school that probably annoys people the most. And I think part of that is because they're kind of shoved in your face so much by the national media and everything that comes with Notre Dame. So, but I also agree wholeheartedly with Jeff's point about conference commissioners and, Notre Dame gets their own special place at the table every single time. I think that makes people dislike them. Ohio State is definitely my number 2 as well. So I think all three of us with Ohio State, and Chuck doesn't particularly care for the coach. With me, it's just the fan base. I don't remember even having any certain players from Ohio State that I couldn't stand, that I don't like. I don't remember any specifically. I'm sure there has been, but I don't know. Maurice Claret. Okay, let's throw him in there. Okay, but I think even the Ohio State fans don't like that guy. But it's their fan base. And so number 3 for me is another team that I feel like is always pushed in your face. And is always everybody acts like they're this great program, and one time and at one point they were, and that's USC. Okay, and I actually, because I have a friend that's a diehard SC fan, I kind of pull for them, but I just feel like they are the master of acting like they're college football blue bloods, which at one point they were. But they are, to me, like the top of the do less with more, And I think there's the whole LA side of it too. That's like, those folks out there, all that kind of. I mean, I think SC is just so overblown. Other ones that would make my list if we went a little bit deeper, Miami. With the cockiness and arrogance of, we cheat, we do everything shady, and we love it. We completely embrace it. That's annoying to me. And whatever Michael Irvin was doing over there on the sidelines, looking like a crackhead, I don't know how you could root for Miami when you see Michael Irvin doing that kind of stuff. Okay. And Texas would also be there. And I think it's good, kind of go back to the arrogance like Ohio State fans with Texas. But, I think for everybody it's probably a little bit different, but it's funny that all three of us had the same 2 at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have necessarily guessed that going into that. We get this, Notre Dame, Texas, Alabama. See, I've never really felt that way about Alabama, even given all their success.
Yeah, I just don't know many. I'm just never around Alabama fans. So
I'm sure if we were in that area.
Yeah, that would be a difference maker.
I have a niece. She and her family live in the Tuscaloosa area, and it was like when they moved there, it was like, are you Bama or are you Auburn? It was like, make a decision, one way or the other. So that's that way in a lot of places. Cameron says Florida, Arkansas, and Texas. The swimming world collectively hates Florida. Okay, who knew? Then Texas, USC, and Miami. As well from Centex.
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We come to you, Jamie, Jeff, and I, from the First United Bank studio here in downtown Lubbock. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to double T973.com for that, or the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open too at 806-771-0973. We get this. This is not a compliment. Texas Tech is the Beverly Hillbillies of college athletics. Agree with Jamie. Ohio State, USC, and Texas. I only know about 10 Aggies, and half of them are family. If I knew more, I might feel differently. Also, I liked Duke in middle school because Tech basketball was terrible post Bob Knight, so I needed a team to cheer for in March. And I like Kyle Singler and Mason Plumlee. I'm indifferent toward them now, but I know 2 high school fan zone coaches that are huge Duke fans.
Okay.
I don't know which ones those are. Okay. So there you go. That's just some thoughts. We're going to go a different direction in just a second, but I'll give Jamie a chance to answer this question. How do you guys feel about men's basketball signing these high school players? It's not looking good for next year if that keeps up. It is interesting what's taking place.
You know, I think that you want to have a couple of guys on your roster that are incoming high school recruits that you want to try to develop. And, you know, sometimes you're able to get those guys that come in and are superstars. I mean, and are big-time factors for you. If you're signing a high school guy this late, that does concern me a little bit because... First off, why is he unsigned this late?
Sure.
And does that mean you're not having the success that you had hoped for in the portal? Or, I mean, choosing joy, maybe this guy, that they saw this guy recently and they were shocked that he was unsigned and he's, you know, grown a few inches or whatever, or he's developed and they think, man, this is a guy that we think could really develop into something. So, I mean, you can look at it both ways, but I mean, I think if you're signing this guy and you're adding a bunch of guys through the portal, you're not thinking twice about this, Trey Hall, right?
Yeah.
But you're not signing a bunch of guys through the portal, and so I would understand why a Red Raider fan would feel like, hey, I'm a little bit nervous about this.
Cause for concern, yeah. He helped, Trey Hall did, North Crowley to win the 2026 Class 6A state championship. Averaged 14.4 points, 9 rebounds, 1.9 blocks, and 2 steals a game. Recorded a double-double with 11 and 10 rebounds in the title game. So, yeah, you know, you're kind of, this is what you're looking at now. You've got him coming in. He's the 5th new guy. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn from UNLV, Cruz Davis from Hofstra, Demarion Dennis from Wyoming, and then you've got DeCarry Spear, an incoming freshman from the Colony, Texas Dynamic Prep. So, yeah, you're not. Still need some height and some stuff in the middle.
Some stuff. We need some stuff in the middle.
Stuff in the middle. So maybe that's to come. I mean, and tomorrow is the deadline for players to decide who have been taking a look at being in the draft. Tomorrow's the deadline. So tomorrow you would know something for sure about Christian Anderson if he's going to come back.
Okay.
If he comes back, does that change things for you, or do you still? I mean, change things a little bit, right?
I think you're better at the guard position. You have more experience and all that good stuff. I think it would be a positive thing, but it still wouldn't fix the fact that you don't have much interior depth at all.
Yeah, but maybe there's some guys that are in that situation that have yet to say I'm going to stay or go, and if they decide to go, then maybe we're teed up with couple of those guys,
maybe,
you know. So that's what I guess you have to hope. So, you know, I don't know if they're lurking in the bushes, you know, at midnight of somebody's house with a contract in hand, saying, "Okay, here you go," you know, knock on the door at 12:01 tonight and say, "You ready?" that kind of took place back in the day with the NBA, and when they had the legalized tampering, time periods, guys would be outside players' houses or, hotels or whatever. And, all that kind of stuff. That would have been, I think that would be something I would enjoy. Be that guy that would, have the contract, and kind of be sitting in the car doing a stakeout and going, hey, and call the coach going, okay, coach, I'm out here at Jamie's house and the porch light is on and it's blinked twice. That's the secret signal for me to be able to knock on the door at 12:01. Okay. So I'm going to knock on the door at 12:01. We're going to sign this cat, and then I'm off to the next spot. Okay.
Probably find lots of cats out there lurking around that time of night.
Yeah. This person reminds both Jalen Petty and Christian Anderson were signed as freshmen late in the recruiting cycle.
Yeah. Petty seemed like it was really late. Remember, he was committed somewhere else and initially got out of that commitment and then signed with the Red Raiders.
I think the text about Tech being the Beverly Hillbillies of college football is in reference to Tech being funded by Cody Campbell oil money, black gold, Texas tea. I doubt it was meant derogatory. Okay. But sometimes when you say Beverly Hillbillies, kind of, it's not always
Well, you could also go with the comparison of didn't used to be rich and living in the rich neighborhood, and now all of a sudden they're rich and living in the rich neighborhood.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know that that's derogatory.
Yeah, choose the joy.
The show wasn't called The Johnsons Down the Street. That's what I'm saying.
We get this. Foreign guys are in the playoffs. Our main target, Faye, plays tonight. Okay.
Yeah, and it feels like that's a done deal for him.
Okay.
It feels like. I don't hope I'm not wrong, but
yeah,
but that's one.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.